Wow, wow, wow. It is December 21st, 2023. A warm welcome to everybody on our Sunday gathering, the final one for 2023. Now, I know to our friends in New Zealand and Australia, it's already New Year's Day, so happy New Year's to you. Wherever you are in the world, if you want to just join with us today and pretend we're together here, at the very end, we'll do a countdown with our closing song. And whether you're spending the night in or you're going out tonight, let's just all be here together as one community and bring in the new year together. I'm joined today with my dearest friends, Kerry and Phil. Darren is off having some fun with his friends. And we're just so grateful, whether this is your first Sunday gathering or that you've been to many others with us, wherever you are, just thank you for being with us. And today, like every other Sunday, we will do our very best to put a little cheer and smile in your hearts and joy, and with the reality of the unseen world and your loved ones still around you, and that you are special. Life is magical, and whatever's gone on in 2023, we're going to make 2024 a great year. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kerry and Phil and to lead you in with our opening prayer.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Hello to everybody who is here live. Happy New Year's Eve, or as we say in Scotland, Happy Hogmanay. And I'm sure we'll hear more about that and what we have in store afterwards. But for the moment, let us enter into that silence. Divine spark of creation, we sit on the eve of a year. The eve of a year that is on parts of our globe is now into the next year. We are a globe of two halves. One already said goodbye to last year, one not quite ready to say hello to the next. The eve of the cusp of a new year that brings new opportunities, new experiences, and new growth for every single one of us. That divine spark within us, within you, allows us to fully appreciate the blend of an unseen world with ours. May we use next year to do good. May we use next year to lift hearts. And may we use next year to be the best we can each and every day, allowing the memory of the day before to lift us into the step of tomorrow. So for those who are already in 2024, Happy New Year. For those of us that are heading into 2024, Happy New Year. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kerry. And I just put into the chat box about a half hour after we close our Sunday gathering today, Kerry and Phil are hosting a New Year's celebration. Of course, I'll be there, and you can register at the link that I just provided in the chat box. It is free, just an hour with our community. So here's the reading from me to you. Have you ever wondered why we drink champagne at New Year's and why we make toasts? Let's look at how these two traditions got started. Did you know that royal families drank champagne instead of water because it was safer since it didn't breed bacteria like water can? Drinking champagne also added to their royal status. This eventually made the custom of feeling royal down to our way, and celebrations began where it was customary, whether it's a wedding or the New Year's Eve ball drop. As for toasts, many believed that the perfect time for the champagne toast is at midnight, not earlier or later, because that is when old habits die and new ones begin. A toast is to wish good health or prosperity. It was customary to drink a toast to a ruler before an audience in ancient Rome. To demonstrate respect and support, people would offer their glass to be filled with the wine or beer from their lord's cup. The first documented use of a toast, as we use it today, dates back to 1796, when people would salute Napoleon, by giving him champagne in honor of his victories, which helped popularize cheers as a form of celebration. But why do we call it toasting? Well, it turns out it was commonplace in the late 17th century to add a stale crouton or small piece of scorched toast to your wine. Not only was it known to improve the quality of poor wine, but it could also improve the quality of bad bread. It became a kind of party snack and popular practice at celebrations. While the piece of bread in the drink went away, thankfully, over the years, the spirit that went on along with it continues on. Today, the toast has evolved over time into something of a verbal souvenir. It's a sentiment that you can take with you when the drink in your glass is long gone. Before you break out some bubbly tonight, take some time to choose your final words for 2023 and make them memorable. So here are some ideas. And I've got my glass. Just water right now. New year, a new chapter, new verse, or just the same old story. Ultimately, we write it. The choice is ours. Celebrate endings, for they precede new beginnings. Never regret. If it's good, it's wonderful. If it's bad, it's experience. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. What a wonderful thought it is that some of the best days of our lives haven't even happened yet. I like that. Never underestimate the power you have to take your life in a new direction. Don't think there are no second chances. Life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. The future depends on what you do today. May the best of your past be the very worst of your future. May all of your troubles in 2024 last only as long as your New Year's resolutions. And my favorite, the bad news is that time flies. The good news is that you're the pilot. And finally, there are tall ships and small ships and ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships. So here's cheers to you and me. In all seriousness, I know on behalf of Darren, Kerry, Phil, and myself, we are all so appreciative that you're part of our community. You have no idea. So that cheers is in earnest. And when I do have a glass of something a little stronger, there will most definitely be a cheers to you. We're going to go into our healing right now. And as we think back of the past and over to the future, I've got a song called New Year's Song by Tim McMorris. And it's bubbly. And while we're listening to it, just let the words float all over you and within you. And remember those who need some healing. Just picture them healthy, well, whole, places in our world that need healing, maybe even some four-legged or two-legged or winged friends, wherever that is, just have that moment of love and healing in your heart. And I know those in the unseen world can use our energy to direct it to where it is needed. So here is the song, and then after we'll hear from Kerry, Phil, and myself for the address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure it is to be here again on the Sunday gathering, and a very special gathering on the eve of a new year. And it may make us take time out to think what this year has been about. Maybe we might get a little bit melancholy where we reflect on personal successes or moments with the family, times that we've shared, rejoicing in their experiences. We may have brought children into this world, or we may have introduced children to school, or where they've finished their last day of school, or we've started new jobs or moved house. All those things that we've achieved will sit with us, but know that will never remain stagnant, because life doesn't remain stagnant, does it? It always moves forward. And sometimes we do these things with a little bit of anxiety or fear. For some people, we might be celebrating and looking forward to the next year, saying it can't be as bad as the one we've just had. Some people might have that fear, thinking, oh, what comes next? Or what's going to happen? Or what does it hold for us? Well, there's one thing that we know in life: nothing stays the same, does it? Life is progressive. If we just look at some of the human characteristics of mankind, we know as we first entered into this world many, many years ago, we lived in caves. Then we built dwellings where those caves were. Then where those dwellings were made, there was a house that was built. And where there was a house, there was other houses built nearby and became hamlets, then villages, then towns, and then cities. And those cities started to expand and reach other towns, and we got suburbs. So we know life doesn't stay stagnant, it always progresses. And we know one thing: everything that we've succeeded, everything that we've done, everything that where we felt good will carry on, because that's what we do as human beings. We take the best bits of ourselves and we progress. And if we look back over this year, I bet there's been many successes. There's been many experiences. And even those experiences we may deem not wonderful, we've learnt from and become better, braver, stronger. But we also know within that logic and our intelligence that life has a way of maybe putting spanners in the way. There will always be a wolf in sheep's clothing. There will always be something. But instead of being cautious, instead of being worried or have fear, know that every step that we take, we learn from, we evolve, we become stronger, we become more cleverer, we become better, we become more spiritual, because we start to empathize and understand things at a deeper level. We start to take in and look at life with a new set of eyes, new perspectives. This is what we must do entering into 2024, because as that song said, springing into the step, looking at the positive, even Sandra's reading saying, let's be excited, let's look into that future. What is there? What is to come? Let us celebrate. But let us learn from our past. Let us learn from 2023 as we knew it. It only feels like it's going to be tomorrow when we're in that new year, and we'll turn around with a sense of humour and say, last year only felt like yesterday. You can see how, with a little bit of a smile, a little bit of humour, life can become brilliant, can become better. The more that we enter into that frame of mind, taking on new challenges, being open to new things, and having that mindset of understanding of doing something maybe that's a little bit scary. And when we do it, we think, well, what was all the fuss about? What was that worry about? Because we've evolved, we've grown. But like those houses were very much the same. We build ourselves stronger. We strive for something better, whatever that may look like to you. It doesn't have to be bright. It doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be shiny. It just has to be something that inspires you. And one of the things that myself and Kerry and Sandra and others talk about is integrity. Integrity to do our best, but also have that realism. Sometimes we get it wrong, but we know we learn from those mistakes. And as long as we're learning, as long as we're doing, and as long as we're striving, then life can become beautiful and wonderful. And you never know, as you stand alone maybe, and you make new friends, just as like those hamlets grew into villages and then into towns, you build communities, just like this one here on We Don't Die. How you've all come together to support each other, came in as strangers, but now are friends from different parts of the world. And even this year, where we've traveled to many places, we've met quite a few of you, and you're not just people that we see on a screen. You become real and whole with your personalities, with your wonderful and beautiful souls, and you inspired us to be better, to have a greater understanding of who you are. That community builds friendships, builds loyalties, but it builds a bright future, a future that you cannot describe, that just builds itself and inspires itself to become better and bigger. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we can have that braveness within our hearts, we can have that vision to stay in our lanes, keeping our integrity, doing the things that make us smile, we know life progresses. The things become bigger and stronger. But knowing that you're not alone, that those cities, those towns that merge together are just like this community, building new people, inviting new people, and also building bonds of love, of friendship, of understanding and empathy. So for me, I want to thank you for what you've given me in 2023, because you've given me everything from life experience to friendships, to loyalties, to love, to kindness, but also you've given me the greatest gift of all, a gift to have empathy and new understandings where I can evolve as a person. So I want to thank you from the bottom and the deepest place in my heart with every bit of love to actually let you know and say thank you for who you are and being that true inspiration that others can follow. And for me, there's no greater gift. And I'm going to hand over to Kerry.
Thank you very much. I barely need to say anything.
Well done, then. There we go. It's all done. Let's move on. No, teasing.
It is lovely, isn't it, when somebody offers thanks for something that you didn't go out of your way to deliver, didn't cost anything to provide, that gave you pleasure, I would expect. It's lovely to be thanked. And at the end of a year, it's lovely to be told by people how much of a difference we have made. And Phil has shared with you that you have made a difference to him. There is within each and every one of us that moment when we move from New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. For myself, it's a highly emotional moment, normally involving drums, bagpipes, singing, and then maybe a little dram of whiskey. But it brings back moments of ceilidhs and dancing and singing when I was younger. Doesn't happen as much now, when families got together and they played the drums and the piano and the violin and everybody sang and danced in a large room. Moments have passed. They're called years, and yet they seem like tiny moments in time. Those moments are etched on my mind. Many of the people that were in those memories now live in the spirit world. I know they're close. I can feel their love. I can feel them join me in the memory and the melancholic moments. I know that they still live. I know they still bring their memories as I have mine, and we join together in that moment. This time of year is about reflecting and letting go. It's not just the end of a year. It's the end of what we need to let go of. Now, we might not think that the end of a year has to represent letting go, but in actual fact, it is. There's nothing we can do to stop the year changing from one number to another, 2023 to 2024. Some of you might be old enough to remember when we thought the world was going to come to a stall in the year 2020. It wasn't in the year 2000, when everything was going to cease to work.
Those days.
And yet here we are. Since the year 2000, we have endured many things, much we couldn't even have imagined. There will have been birthdays that we didn't think people would still be here, 101, 102, 110. There's been this thing called a virus that's hit the planet. There has been surprises in politics, surprises in religion, surprises in the environment, and surprises in each of our families, I would imagine. But it's the surprises that are in each of us that we are in control of. And when we have surprises, they often, as Sandra alluded to in her reading, end up being the opportunities and the experiences, even when in the moment we didn't see them like that. There's many things in life that we have to let go of, whether it be saying goodbye to members of our family when they move to the spirit world, whether it's saying goodbye to friendships and work relationships because they just don't serve at this moment, whether it's saying goodbye to partners or children because they decide they want to be in a different place, whether it's saying goodbye to an old you, making way for something new. We all know, as Sandra said, for there to be a beginning, there has to be an end. Now, human beings are not programmed to like endings. We just don't like them. Never have. I'm sure it's not just me. Endings kind of tug at the heartstrings, kind of make all emotions go in a tizzy. But if we don't move with the natural flow of nature, then we move against the natural flow of nature. How many of you have been in a relationship or a workplace where you thought, oh, I really need to leave this place, and then you didn't do anything about it and the universe decided for you and it didn't suit you? It happened in a way that you couldn't have planned and didn't really fit you best. But if you decided for yourself, it would have been better. But we hold back. Well, 2024 won't hold back for nobody. Some of our friends, we know that you have already entered into that year. Move into the new year with open arms, an open heart, an open mind to what could be. Work not from fear, but from love. We had a discussion with Phil's son Lucas yesterday, and we talked about to make a change, you have to believe. You have to believe that you can do it to make that change possible. Anything is possible when you believe. It might not go the route you thought it would go, but you'll always be moving forward and you'll always be in the driver's seat. So step forward into 2024 with a smile on your face and the sun in front. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kerry and Phil. Beautiful words, you guys. Oh, love being with you. And to pick up on all of that, I just like to remind everyone who we really are, that we are these one-of-a-kind divine souls here on earth for a little while, but we can never die. We will continue on. But while we're here to really make the most of our life, and you've heard me say these things before, I know, but I like to imagine that from the spirit world we came and we will return there. And when we came to earth, we signed up knowing that we're going to have all these experiences to really expand our soul. We're going to meet new people. We're going to have these just great experiences. There's going to be ups and downs and emotions to be had for sure. And maybe we all signed up for it. Bring it on. I'd love all of that. But the agreement was we're going to forget who we really are. And so here we are on the Sunday gathering going into a brand new year. And I just want to remind everyone just how unique and special you are. It's easy to look back upon the past and feel a sense of sadness and regret and maybe guilt, but have some compassion for the earlier you. And as Phil said, we can always learn from the past, but it doesn't have to carry with you as a form of guilt or regret. Our younger selves, even our younger selves yesterday, did the best job we could. We did what we did because that's what we knew to do. So be grateful because they brought you to who you are today. I like to tell the story too about that aquarium where they wanted to have little fish swimming amongst the big fish. And pardon me if you've heard this before, but it just really tells the story and sends the message. You know, every time they dropped little fish into the big fish tank with the big fish ate them. And as time went on, they thought, you know, how can we make this work? And some great person had the idea to put a whole bunch of clear jars within this fish tank and put the little fish in them. And so suspended within this fish tank were all these jars, and the big fish would go right for them to eat the little fish, and then they'd bump their snouts on those jars, and those fish eventually gave up. And it was at that time that the aquarium owners got rid of all the jars and let the little fish swim amongst the big fish. Well, what happened to those big fish happens to us is we are swimming around with every opportunity available to us. But something in that past told us that we couldn't do it. So we no longer try. And I don't care if you're 8 years old or 80, the future is ours. I love what I read in the reading. The bad news is that time flies. The good news is that you are the pilot. Last night, my mom and I watched the movie Naiad on Netflix. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's about the marathon distance swimmer, Diana Naiad, who did some incredible long distance swims. And at the age of 28, she tried to swim 110 miles from Cuba to Key West, Florida. And she failed. Now, she still swam something like 40 hours, but she failed. And the movie picks up, and Annette Bening is the main character, when she's 60 years old and looking back on her life. And she decides to try it again. Now, she retired as a professional swimmer at the age of 30. So picking up with her 30 years later, at the age of 60, she sets out to do this unbelievable feat. So the movie tells her story of up until her fourth attempt. She swam every day, and we're talking, this is an incredible feat through sharks and jellyfish. And finally, on her fifth attempt, at the age of 64, yes, 64, she swam 110 miles straight from Cuba to Key West, Florida, which was over 53 hours of nonstop swimming. Did I say the age of 64? Through shark-infested waters, wearing wetsuits for the jellyfish, all of it. If you haven't seen the movie yet, it's called Naiad, N-Y-A-D. I wholeheartedly recommend it, because I think you'll find what I found by watching it is not only showing what human beings are capable of physically, but what we're capable of mentally. Could you imagine being that age and doing that swim? Your body wants to give out, but what must she been thinking, and who must she be in her mind that has that I'm not giving up no matter what attitude? I know for myself, I've given up on a lot of things, and I've let my ego, my mind convince me that I couldn't have or couldn't do, and it still pops up. I think that's just part of being human. But for me, and maybe for you, what would it take to look at 2024 and maybe channel in a little of that Diane Naiad? She's still around. She's 74 years old. She's done a great TED Talk. She's still a motivational speaker. But what would it be like to remember who you really are, whatever that dream may be, to go for it, no matter what the age? So, like I read before, the bad news is time flies. The good news is that you're the pilot. Thank you, everyone. With that, we are going to move into our demonstration of mediumship. And this, to me, is just a magical time where we remember how close our loved ones are. Kerry and Phil are our mediums today. And of course, we love them for volunteering their time each and every week. If you are new to our Sunday gathering, this is how it goes. And if you've been here with us before, just pretend it's a new year and you're listening to this the brand new first time. Kerry and Phil have long time trained to be mediums, and they're also our tutors, both having practiced over 25 years. They have a promise to humanity on both sides of the veil to let us know that we don't die, that we live on. They have an extra special promise to those in the spirit world that their voice can be heard again through mediumship, through proper mediumship. It may be the only time your loved one who no longer has their physical voice box can speak and let you know they're healthy, well, alive, that they keep one foot in our world as they continue their journey in the unseen world. So the medium demonstration is just a very, very special time. While we're here together, we will get representatives from the spirit world letting us all know that they're still alive and well. There will be members of our gathering here today that will get readings from Kerry and Phil, and there'll be most of us that do not. But our friends from the spirit world speak on behalf of all of our loved ones. So please pull the readings toward you, even if you're not the one getting the message, just to feel how close our loved ones are. And also take on some of those messages. I know the address that Kerry and Phil spoke, I could pull their message towards myself. We can do the same thing with the messages that come through from the loved ones. How does it work? Well, the spirit world is behind the scenes, and they probably already have chosen the folks that will speak on behalf of them. They'll come to Kerry and Phil, and they're going to use every bit of them, whether it's their mind, their memories, their feelings, their senses, their sense of smell, taste, touch, who knows? And then Kerry and Phil will give, you'll hear, a few initial bits of information about the spirit person that is with them. And I say person because we are still people when we go to the spirit world. We live. We are not balls of energy. We are real people. So you'll hear them describe the person that has connected with them. If you can understand all of the information, so the person they described is a person that you know that no longer walks this earth. If you can understand all of the information they share, what we want you to do is press your raise hand button. So this is the time you can find on your device, wherever that raise hand button is, burn 1 calorie, press the button, see how it works. It goes from raise hand to lower hand, raise hand to lower hand. Everybody's pressing it right now. Press, press. Why this is important is sometimes there are 2 or more people that can take all the information. So as Kerry and Phil continue on with the evidence, if there's a piece that you can't take, that you don't understand, that is when you're going to press your lower hand button. We have well over 100 people with us today. So again, we ask that you accept all the information before you press that raise hand button. And yeah, just as they mentioned, integrity. Please put your hand down if you cannot accept all of the information. If you are the last man or woman standing, so to speak, with your hand raised, I'm going to press a button on my side, and you'll get a little pop-up on your screen with an unmute button. And we want you to press that. All we need is your voice. Don't worry, you will not be on camera. But we need you to give a yes, no, or I don't know to the information that Kerry or Phil gives you. And that goes for any medium reading that you have. Just yes, no, or I don't know. We want everybody to know that they really are in touch with our friends and loved ones, not making it up. They've got them right there. And to do that, we don't need you guys and gals to volunteer information about them. We want everybody to leave here today knowing that Kerry and Phil brought through the information from your loved ones, that they're working together. The afterlife is very real, and your loved ones are too. And as for loved ones, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, could be somebody you worked with, could be somebody a little distant. So sometimes the spirit world works in interesting ways. But again, if you can understand all the bits of information they share, then you press your raise hand button. Okay? And then just the yes, no, and I don't know. What we like to do before any demonstration is play a piece of feel-good music. And this is just a time to picture your loved ones right there in the room with you, because, they probably are. and feel joy, because I think that joy really boosts the energy and it feels good too. So the song I have chosen is the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited. And there's going to be a video that plays along with it of famous dances from the movies. So if you want to just sit back, relax, feel excited, sing along with the song if you know it, and certainly enjoy the videos because they're from some of the movies that you know and love. Here we go. Hi, I'm feeling excited. You know, I had to put in a little Sandra magic before the end of the year.
Absolutely. It's been a while since I've seen a little video like that for a while. It brings a smile to my face. As I looked up, I thought, oh my God, she's done it again. But there we go. As always, it is an honor to serve the spirit world, but to also go through another year, and this is our 4th year doing this, and to be part of the Sunday gathering, but also representing the spirit world and your loved ones is truly a privilege as we get to meet them, as we get to feel them, we get to hear them, and how they see life really affects us as the medium because it changes our perspective of life and how we interact. We learn from it every time. So I just wanted to really voice that to everybody, how it affects us mentally, emotionally, and physically, and how we interact in the world afterwards. Doesn't make us a saint, but it makes us learn. Okay, that's good. So my job is to just blend with the spirit world, just to see what's that's fun. I'm just sometimes they just want to get on with it. So I'm just trying to get that little bit understanding so I can be clear with my presentation. I know I've got Father with me. I know he's to the point because he's telling me to get on with it. But I actually feel here that as I work with Dad, I know that he is a bit of a comedian. I know that there would be memories of him pulling faces. I also know that how can I put this? He would be pulling faces to make fun, but also to get you in trouble as well. But I also feel with Father, he doesn't live to a great age. And when I say that, I feel I want to be in my mid-50s as well with him. And it just feels here that heart would have taken him over to the spirit world because I know he didn't look after himself as well. So I know I've got Dad. I know it was the heart that took him over. I know it is that sense of humor that I want to hold on to for a moment. But I also know he was a man that could speak his truth.
Thank you very much, Phil. All right, if you can understand all of this information, go ahead and press your raise hand button.
And I can see we've got 2 people. Okay.
Yes.
So I want to go back to where he would pull faces because it just feels here his face could be quite expressive. Now, I know my lovely wife, when she's not in the best mood with me, her eyes roll out loud. I know Father could do the same thing, but I also feel that he would do it deliberately, like raise his brows when somebody would speak, just to say, oh no, we're going again. So I know he has that personality, but I know he does it deliberately to either make you laugh and to get you into trouble, but also to almost in a way entertain you as well.
Thank you very much. We have both Tony and Nina with their hands raised and Natalie. So we have 3 people. I'm just saying your names out loud in case it was an accident.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we still got the 3. We've got an extra
Yes.
one. That's fine. Okay. I also know with Dad, I know this time of the year would be important because I know he would share his thoughts on the year gone by. And it's almost where he could be quite melancholy because he would talk through things and how some negative aspects, he would turn them into positive things as well. It's almost like I want to sit down. I actually feel I want to be either with a girl. So it feels like I want to speak to one of the ladies. Daughter as well. And I'm just looking at here. There would be memories of either Dad giving you either a photo frame in particular with a special photograph of him and you together.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we have 3 hands up. Now there's 2 Tonys and a Natalie. And be sure you can take all that information, including the photo frame that he gave you with a picture of you and him. All right, so we have Tony. Tony, if you can press your unmute button, please.
Yeah, I don't think it was me because I didn't understand the mid 50s definitely, a Joker most definitely, um, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so you don't understand all the other information.
A small picture.
The photograph, or either were he giving you a photo frame where you had a picture of you and him together?
No, no, just him.
That's fine. Okay, so okay, I don't feel I'm with you, Tony. It doesn't feel quite right. So, Sandra, have we got somebody else with their hand up?
Yes, Natalie had her hand up for most
Can
of
we
the
bring
information.
Natalie in just to find out where
Hi.
we are?
Hi.
Hello, Natalie. What do you
Hi, thank
understand what I've
you.
said?
So far, the funny faces, the comedian, what the picture frame with me and my dad resonates, but he didn't give it to me. It was my sister that gave it to me.
Ah, that's
And
fine because
the age and cause of death doesn't land though.
that's fine. Okay, the age I can be wrong with, but I know I felt my heart, so I can't change that little bit. If he
Okay.
didn't have, no, in fact, it doesn't feel right. So, Sandra, have we got somebody else? I know there's a few hands up.
Yes, okay. Naomi's got her hand raised. Hi, Naomi.
Hi.
Hello, Naomi. Do you understand everything I've said?
So I understand the heart issue. I understand the picture. I can't remember who it was given to me by. I think my mother.
Okay,
And it is of me and my father together. And he loved the Christmas time. So this time of year is important to him.
good.
And he was very um he was funny in his own right. Like
Okay.
he had that
That's
about
it. Don't
him.
say any more then. Don't say any more then, Naomi, because it feels where I want to be. And do you understand with your dad, he could be a bit of a character though. His face that he could pull is very expressive.
Yes.
Okay. And where that sense of humor is as well, it could be quite childish at times.
Yes.
Okay, because I just kept on going back to this as well, almost like I want to say it's one of the special things you would have held dear with your dad.
Yes.
Because again, it's just that impression where it's almost where things weren't wonderful, where he would just pull his face and it could lift a moment.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, it feels at Christmas time where he said that it was his favorite time of year, one of his special moments. It was about where we shared things, about sitting, talking about the past year.
Yes.
And because it feels like I want to put the world to rights and get you almost in this sense of thinking about being positive and what the future holds as well. Because I know he has that nurturing aspect to him as well.
Yes.
Okay, but I feel that a picture that I mentioned is very important, where you would have kept it for some time or still got it.
Absolutely.
Because again, here it's not just something as a memory. I know it's still poignant. I know it's still important. And I want to say it catches your dad's essence, because I want to say the face is just lit up on that photograph.
Absolutely true.
And where I talk about that facial expression being expressive, he just looks so happy on it as well.
Yes.
Because I know the memories of spending time with you were important to him, because he would have taken you to parks or recreational grounds.
Yes.
Okay, because I keep on getting, it's almost like I want to say that picture was taken outside.
No, but there are pictures that were
Okay,
taken outside.
then give me a good solid no. Then if it's not outside, there would have been pictures of outside, which you've already said. But I get the impression these were happy times for your father, where it was just you and him together.
Yes.
It just feels and I know as a father we want
Oh,
to do the best for our kids, but it's almost like dad would struggle to say no to you.
I just lost you.
Oh, I'm still here. Don't worry, Naomi.
Are you there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you now. I'm sorry. I
Good.
lost
That's a
you for
fact.
a moment.
As a dad, it's almost like he never wanted to say no to you either. He always wanted to make sure you were happy.
Yes.
because that's why I want these outdoor memories, these recreational things. And it's almost where I want to spoil you where I can. Now, I'm not saying that he bought you the earth, because I know some of these things didn't cost the earth, but it was just little moments and little ways he would share things with you, like buying like toffee apples and things like this.
Yes.
Good. Would I also be right in saying he would have taken you to fairgrounds as well?
No.
Then if I'm not, when I say fairgrounds, I'm not talking where there was clowns and different things. It's almost like I want to go to either community days, like small fairs.
Community days. I
That's
understand that.
fine. That's fine, because I know here it's almost, it's what we call a fair of a different sorts here in the United Kingdom, but it's almost like I want to take you to those events because I know it's just getting us out of the house and bringing back those memories as well. But I also know with your father, appearance mattered to him.
Yes.
And I want to say it mattered not to other people. It was just a sense of pride and dignity to who he was. He always wanted to be smartly dressed or appear that way.
No, not necessarily.
Bear with me. If I said that he would, even if he was casual, he'd be quite smart.
Yes.
Because that's what I want to say is where that appearance does matter to him as well. But I also know there's a times where your dad wasn't the biggest of talkers, but it's just the poignant words he would share.
100%.
Because I know it's about going into the new year and just doing your best. And that's all your dad asks of you. And I'm going to leave his love with you, but know that he has all those fond memories and he's still reminiscing. And I know you still talk to him as well out loud sometimes, Naomi.
I do.
And I also know he's not on his own. I also know there's a husband in the spirit world that he would have got on with.
Yes.
And I know they're both together as well. One last thing, would I be right in saying Dad would have liked to had the odd little drink? I'm not saying he was a big drinker, but he would have had the little drink.
Oh, most certainly, yes.
Because I know here I've got husband and him together raising a glass for 2024 for you as well. So I'm going to leave that with you and say thank you for allowing me to do that for you, Naomi.
Thank you so much, Phil.
Absolutely pleasure. Absolute pleasure. That's fine. Okay, good.
Thank you both. And everybody listening in so intently.
Okay. All right. So I feel I've got sister with me. In fact, I want to say I've got sister and mother with me, but I want to stay with sister for a second. I feel that sister passes with a blood disorder, like a leukemia, the cancer type of illness. But I also feel with sister as well, I want to say that she's almost like a live wire. I know she could be the center of attention and center of the party because it feels like I just want to enjoy life. There must be memories of sister singing as well. And again, it feels where I want memories of being at school where I was quite popular and either involved in a school choir or the singing's important.
Thank you, Phil. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you can understand this information as sister, go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. All right, let me see. We have Vanessa with her hand raised. Vanessa, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, Vanessa. Do you understand everything I've said?
Well, my sister was a singer, but she didn't die from a blood disorder or cancer.
Right. Bear with me then. Let's just hold because I know that I've got this condition with me. Then bear with me. You don't, because I do feel I've got mother. Have I made a mistake? It was mother that had the condition.
Yes, she had cancer. My mother did.
That's fine. Okay. Because I know there's something, it feels right as I connect with you, but I know I've just got to, I placed it in the wrong way. But with your sister, would you understand where I also said she was a live wire? She liked to entertain. She liked to be because it feels like I don't want any dull moments with me, and it feels like I want to be that center of attention as well. But I know here with that singing, she wasn't just she loved singing; she could sing.
Yeah. Yes.
And I want to say that it's almost where she would have loved musicals as well.
Yes.
And it's almost where I want to,
Absolutely,
because it just feels where I want to go back to. And I'm an 80s child where it's, I remember all the music and Footloose and all the other things. So I know it's
yes.
that type of program that she liked, but I know that she would quite happily sing all day long, even if we're just out together.
Yes.
Because it also feels where wherever she was, and I can't exaggerate this enough, where it's almost she would just sing little ditties and sing chorus lines and everything else walking around the house.
Yes.
And again, there must be funny moments where she would sing, then turn to whoever, you or mum or dad, and sing directly to them.
Yes, she would.
Because again, it's just this impression that I want to bring, and it feels where I talk about this time of the year, where there would be memories of her singing with the family as well.
Yes.
And it's almost like I want to the Christmas carols, but also popular songs off the, excuse me, the television as well.
Yes. The Christmas carols, definitely.
Because again, because it just feels I want to sit down, but there should be memories with your sister and mother at Christmas watching the television and the old films.
Yes.
And would I
Yes.
be right in saying that we used to like the old-fashioned Doris Day movies as well?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
all I can hear is your sister singing some of the Doris Day, and it's taking me back to my memories here. But again, it's that camaraderie coming together. But I also feel as well with your sister, there could be quite a sentimental side to her as well.
Oh, definitely.
Because it feels where I want to sit down with you and discuss life away from mum and dad and share things that we've gone through together.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it often feels that this time of the year is important for you yourself, Vanessa, because you almost celebrate those memories with your sister.
Yes. She loved Christmas.
Because you fed that to me. So again, I know that's important to her. But again, it's almost where I want to say that she's witnessed you either raising a glass in memory as well at this time of the year.
Yes.
Because it's this sense of still being with you and watching over you. Would I also be right in saying just recently there's been songs that you've heard as you've been out and about or in the house that have reminded you of your sister?
Yes.
Because it's almost where she wants you to know she's still with you, still around you, and where you think of her, she comes even closer. So I know she's only that thought away. But would I also be right in saying that you have photographs of your sister
Yes.
and you've been looking at them quite recently?
Yes.
Because I know she's sat with you as you went through them as well. And I know when you went through them, because she's highlighting, she's letting me see this, you were explaining and talking about your sister to other people as well.
Yes. Just yesterday.
That's fine, because she wants you to know that how much she is with you and celebrating. Thank you. I also believe people will give her sweets to keep her quiet when she was younger. It's almost like I want to put fudge or specific candies, give them to. So I know she liked her candies when she was younger.
uh, yeah, we both did.
That's fine, because I know it's almost like it's the only time we get that peace and quiet. And this is where I believe mum comes into it as well. Because if I said your sister had high expectations and she wanted to be that professional singer,
Yes, she did.
but it's almost like mum was quite level-headed.
Yes, she
Because it's
was.
almost like mum comes in saying, no, we're going to do things sensibly. So I know she has that level head about her. But I know I want to leave you with mum's love, but mainly sister's love at this time of the year, because I know it's very important. And if I'm correct, you must still have Christmas cards from your sister that you've kept.
I don't know about that.
Bear with me. You must have paperwork to do with your sister, please.
Yes, I do.
And I know in that paperwork, because I know there's quite a bit, there should be photographs, and I also know there should be Christmas cards and other memorabilia, such as birthday cards and things as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
there was. Yeah.
I know that your sister wants you to know that she's always around you. She's only a thought away, but mainly about enjoying life. Because I know it's this singing. If I said she could be a little bit to the point and sarcastic as well.
Yes.
And if I said that these are her words, so please don't reach through the screen and clip me around the ear. She had the better voice than you.
Yes.
So she says, you've been singing recently and she hears you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to repeat what she's just said, okay, because it involves a cat, okay, but I know it's just her sense of humor. But she wants you to know she's very strongly with you, and it's her evidence to prove that as well. So I'm going to leave that with you and say thank you very much for.
Well, thank you so much. It's
You're
really,
absolutely
really good to know that
wonderful
today.
as well. Bear with me. Do you know the advent calendars with the chocolates that you can open?
Yes.
You must have stole each other's chocolates as well.
Yeah, we did have them. My grandmother got them for us.
I know,
Yes.
because she says I'm still pinching yours. So I'm going to leave that with you and say thank you very much for allowing me
Thank
to
you
do that.
so much.
You're
I
absolutely
appreciate
wonderful.
that so much.
You're wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Two lovely contacts.
Beautiful.
It's my
Thank you.
pleasure now to be able to work on behalf of the spirit world. And as I was sitting there blending with them and enjoying watching and listening to Phil work, I became very aware of the spirit world pulling in, and it's changed a number of times. So I feel that's going to be interesting, shall we put it that way. I know I feel I have husband with me, and somebody in the audience would have memories of being on a cruise ship with their husband or partner or fiance at this time of year and having memories of being on a cruise ship, because I know very special memories were created.
Beautiful. Okay, if you understand all this information, please press your raise hand button. Okay. Fraser, if you could press your unmute button. Hello.
Hello.
Am I saying your
Hi,
name right?
Fraser.
You
Fraser?
are indeed, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Fraser. You understand partner or husband or fiance in the spirit world,
I do.
and you would understand being on a cruise with him at this time of year.
Yes.
And on that cruise, is it your husband, Fraser?
It was, yes.
Your husband had quite a cheeky sense of humour.
She certainly did.
Because as he walks me around this cruise ship, I know he snuck the odd kiss from you as you were walking on this cruise ship.
Correct.
And I know he was very cheekily affectionate to you. I'm going to put it that way.
Yes.
He's a lovely, lovely man, and he would never have offended anybody. That is not his nature, but he absolutely adores you. And I know there would have been times where you and him would have sat out watching the sun go down on these cruises, on that cruise.
We did.
And I know there would have been more than one cruise, but not necessarily at the same time of year.
Correct.
Because I know that there are other cruises which would have been at different times of the year, but this particular one, as you sat watching the sun go down, I know you and him would have sat with a cocktail or some kind. It doesn't feel like a large pint of beer. It feels like quite a romantic drink that you would have both enjoyed.
It could have been, yeah.
And I also get the sense with your husband that he had quite an eclectic taste for clothes.
Yes, at times.
But they all went. You would think they wouldn't go together, but I know he had great fashion sense.
I helped along the way.
Because I know I've got stripes here, I've got different patterns, but they go together. I know if it's courtesy of yourself, Fraser, then you have excellent fashion taste, because I know he looks very eclectic, but he looks well presented. I know he would have also at one time had something similar to my husband here,
Yes, at one point.
because I know it would have driven you nuts, the itchiness.
Didn't suit him.
Suits me.
I know too, with your husband, he must have had a great interest in shoes as well.
No.
Then if that's not right, Fraser, then you would have a great number of shoes in your wardrobe.
Not as many as I used to have, but it was definitely me with the shoe fetish, yeah.
Okay, because I know there's a sense of you might have chosen his clothes for him, but he tolerated your desire for lots of clothes. I know in his heart of hearts, he fought strongly for what he believed you and him represented. It feels like he went out of his way to stand up for what you represented.
Yes.
And I know he had an incredible number of interactions with people where he actually would have spoken to you the words of, I am not explaining anything anymore.
Yes.
And I know his love and his affection and his adoration for you comes in so strongly from the spirit world, Fraser.
Mm.
And I know he wants to raise a glass as the sun goes down on this day to let you know every New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, from here to kingdom come, he will be there with you.
I knew that. I could feel him today. It's our first New Year's Eve apart, so
I
yeah.
know it's incredibly important for him to be there. And I know he brings in the memory of you being on that cruise ship. He sung as well, Fraser.
Yes, he did.
I can hear him singing Cliff Richard's Congratulations, although that's a birthday. So Fraser, you would have a birthday around about this time as well.
It was last week. I was 50 last week.
Okay, because I can hear him singing Cliff Richard's Congratulations, but he must have also liked ABBA.
Yes.
Because he's singing Happy New Year to you as well.
Okay. I need to listen to that later.
He's singing his heart out for you. And if this is your first New Year without him, you're without him physically, but certainly not emotionally, mentally, or spiritually.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Fraser. Thank you for allowing me to do that for you on behalf of him.
Thank you. That's a real blessing. Bless you. Thank you.
Beautiful words. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Fraser.
No mention of Speedos either.
I do believe I have wife or partner or fiancée or girlfriend with me. I do feel that she would have, I do feel her passing to the spirit world was very, give me 2 seconds. I have 2 ladies with me. I do believe one of them is wife, girlfriend, fiancée, but I know you would have been with her for a long period of time. This is a very long-term relationship. And I know there is an illness with her. I also know that she passes to the spirit world sooner than the doctors would have thought. It felt like a fast passing, but in actual fact, there was an illness there. I also get the impression from her that she was the rock for you. If there was anything needing doing or anybody needing spoken to, she was the one that did the level-headed talking.
Thank you, Kerry. All right, friends, if you can understand that information, go ahead and press your raise hand button, please. All right. We have from the home of Sue and Pete. Hello, you guys. Is that you,
Oh,
Pete?
yeah. It's me, yeah. I think. I need a bit
Okay.
more. But
Okay,
it's very,
Pete, I think I've communicated on behalf of your wife before.
you have once, yeah.
Okay, not because I remember her, but because I remember speaking to you about, I have to be honest, I don't, let me just work through it, Pete. You know that
Okay.
your wife would have been the rock, very strong, and her word was gospel.
Thought. Yeah,
And I
that's
know
right.
that there would have been a long illness with her, Pete.
Yes, that's right too.
But you went to the spirit world sooner than the doctors thought.
Yes, I think that was right, because she gradually deteriorated, but then at the end very
Okay.
quickly.
I also get the sense with your wife that there would have been, and Pete, you also have mum in the spirit world.
Yes.
You also have sister in the spirit world, Pete.
Oh, that lets me out. No, I've got a sister.
Okay. And would you know if Sue had a sister in the spirit world?
No, but I've often thought you do have a
No,
sister.
no, that's besides the point. No, Sue hasn't got a sister in the spirit
Oh,
world
I've
either.
caused a domestic.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I check? I'm not saying your wife isn't here for you, Craig, Pete, but I want to ask Sandra, is there somebody else in our
Yeah, please
audience
do.
that understands that?
Thank you very much, Kerry. Let me ask, is there anyone else who can understand all of that information? Please press your raise hand button. No hands are being raised. Oh, I spoke too soon. Kayla has her hand up. Let me just make sure, because I know it flashed up before. Kayla, are you there? Hi, Kayla.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi,
Hi, Kira.
yes,
Do you understand everything I've said?
some of it, yes.
You
Less,
understand wife or fiancé or girlfriend in the spirit world?
yes,
And you understand that she was your rock.
yes.
And you also understand with her this illness, but she passed sooner than the doctors expected or the doctors would have told you.
So not quite an illness, but passed sooner than expected.
Okay, okay. Because I do feel that she was, out of the two of you, she was the more serious one,
Yes,
more level-headed. Because I know as she comes in, there's a sense of, it's got to be done my way.
yes,
There's no getting around this. It has to be done my way. And I need to say as well, with you and her, there was an intimacy that you understood one another because you'd been together so long, you almost finished off each other's sentences.
yes,
I also know, Kayla, that your wife would have bought you a specific make of chocolate.
yes,
And she would have eaten a lot of it herself.
yes,
Because suddenly I've got this box of chocolates, but I can hear her eating the chocolates, and she made quite a noise eating them. I also know that she would have had the most beautiful way of wrapping up presents for you, wrapping them and sellotaping them and wrapping them up.
no, that doesn't resonate much.
Then that must have been you, Kayla, that put all that time and effort into wrapping up presents.
Oh, yes,
Okay, because I know she's showing me this present beautifully wrapped and beautifully presented. And I get this impression from her that it was what it was, didn't need to wrap it. Why go to all that fuss? She was plain up and down, but I know she treasured her times with you. I also know that subsequent to her passing, Kayla, she wants to acknowledge the changes that have taken place within your life that you've been asking her to acknowledge.
yes,
And I know this is her way of acknowledging them, you speaking to her and her wanting to You have had your signs from her. She has
Yes.
given her signs to you. And one of them was right on the back of you asking, are you seeing what's happening? Are you aware of the changes?
Yes.
And yet you still doubt.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh my God.
I can feel her crossing her arms and say, really? Yet you still doubt. I
Oh my
know that you and
God.
her must have watched the film Ghost at times.
Not, no, but the word resonates more, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
okay. Then are you familiar with the film Ghost?
Not really.
Okay, then I would urge you to go and watch it in your own time because there's a
Okay.
joke in there. The joke is, do you expect me to move a penny up the door? If I could, I would. But I also know you do find pennies lying about.
Yes.
Yes. She ain't going to move one up the door, but it is her leaving you signs. I understand the grief that comes from losing a partner to the spirit world and how that pain doesn't ever dissipate. In some way, please know that the changes that are taking place are for the better, and your wife sees that. She wants to give you, she oh, she better be right. She would have said and spoken to you about giving you a kick up the posterior to get you moving.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, there's a kick coming up the posterior for 2024. Live it to the fullest. She's right
Wow.
there with you.
Wow. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
I'm going to say thank you very much. Enjoy the film.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for allowing me to do that for you, Kayla.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to be a voice piece for the spirit world. 2023 has been a real wonderful year, spending time with your loved ones, giving them a voice and sharing their truths. We can never pick who we go to. We can never really guarantee what is said. We just move out of the way and let their story be told in the way that they want it, however people may deem it, but it's their story and it's very individual to those people that receive those contacts. So for me and Kerry, it's been a wonderful year where we've been able to share. Exactly. Thank you for being that audience and being allowing us to blend and talk and commune with your loved ones.
Oh, beautiful words. Ladies and gentlemen, you can press your raise hand button as a round of applause for the year and all the giving that Kerry and Phil have done. Love you guys so much. And if you have not yet taken a course with Kerry and Phil, they're just like they are here. They are down to earth, they're real, they're loving, they're fun. They're excellent tutors, and it's great to watch a medium demonstrate. Absolutely, it is. But to get a little taste of it for yourself and that little taste of how your soul perceives information and how loved ones communicate, there's nothing like it. Even if you don't want to be a medium professionally, that's fine. But just come join one of their courses. They're starting up in just over a week's time. A medium level 1 is always a good one to start with. If you can't join us live, everyone gets the replays. There's a Facebook group, practice group that you can be part of as well. So there's good things happening with Kerry and Phil. Absolutely, there are. They are. They also have a Tuesday class starting called Color and the Aura. Get to learn all about different meanings of colors and experiment and get your creativity side on. For those people who are well practiced, we have medium level 2. If you've experienced several of Kerry and Phil's level 1 classes before, that happens on Thursdays. Lots going on for sure there. Also, as far as classes go, that same week on Mondays, our friend Scott Milligan has a class called Trance and the Altered States. There are no breakout rooms in that. There's a lot of time with your eyes closed, learning to quiet the mind and blend with the power of your own soul, your loved ones, and those helpers from the unseen world. So you can find out everything that's coming up at wedon'tdie.com. Just click on the store page. Also, coming up on Friday, Scott will be doing a demonstration of trance mediumship and a sitting for healing. That's called In the Arms of Eternity. And then next Sunday, after the Sunday gathering, we have a returning medium friend named Chris Jacobs, who will be doing a 90-minute demonstration of mediumship for our community. Those are some of the things coming up, but I don't want you to miss in about 44 minutes time or 48 minutes time, we will be together with Kerry and Phil celebrating New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the year in review. Who knows? It'll be just a time we can raise our glass and all be together. So we'll put that link back in the chat box if you haven't yet signed up. But of course, you can find that at wedon'tdie.com. Just click on the store page. Last, I just want to say thank you for all of you who have donated to our Sunday gathering to make it possible. We appreciate it. It's not necessary, but it does go to a good use. You can donate if you wish, or find all past Sunday gatherings. Well, not all, but quite a few. Just go to the Sunday gathering page at wedon'tdie.com. So a few words for the week from me, and then I'm going to pass it over to Kerry and Phil with some words. All I really want to say is, with this New Year's, be gentle on yourself, really, truly. Give yourself a great big hug. It is not an easy place to be living on planet Earth as this soul who has come to Earth to experience. Know that you're not alone. Reach out for help. You got people that love you, real life people, including us. And then you got, as we just saw in the medium demonstration, you got your loved ones right around you. So you're never alone. But go take a step into one of your dreams. Make this life count. Over to Kerry and Phil.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everybody who has supported us through 2023. We look forward to being there for us and for you in 2024. 2024 is a year that has new possibilities, new opportunities. If we look back on 2023 in a couple of years' time, it might be the things we never did that we regret. Let's make 2024 with fewer of those moments where we can say, I did it. I've learned from it. I don't regret not doing it. But also live 2024 with integrity. You don't want to be leaving a year with any type of conscience. I'm sure we've all made it through this year with a very clear conscience. So work with integrity and love, humility and joy.
Mm-hmm. Let's use 2023 as a springboard into 2024. And let's do everything with a smile on our faces, and let's grab every opportunity that we can and live with no regrets. If we can do that, I'm sure everything will be a wonderful success. But most of all, having happiness is more important.
Thank you both. Why don't you lead us into our closing prayer, and then we'll do our New Year's countdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join me in prayer. Great infinite Spirit, we came together once more under the banner of We Don't Die, in the community that is very supportive, inspiring words, talking of truths, but sharing our loves. As we move into this coming year, we want all that we've cherished to be taken with us, to inspire self and others as we move forward. But knowing within that heart of hearts, Father, we know that love of yours keeps us safe, shines a light brightly in front of us, and allows us to walk our walk and talk our talk as we share those truths of the spirit world. But most of all, we ask that we walk forward within this world with that smile and that heart singing brightly within, knowing that everything that comes our way, we will meet with that smile, but with that happiness, and turning every moment into that success of living the best lives that we can. Amen.
Beautiful words. And Kerry and Phil, I've loved doing the Sunday gathering with you yet another year. So as we go to our countdown now, you can count with us out loud if you like. at our stroke of midnight here on the Sunday gathering. If you've got somebody to kiss, great. If not, just imagine all the lips planting on you from your loved ones in the spirit world. Here we go. Here is our closing Sunday gathering song and countdown for 20. Well, the only thing left to say is Happy New Year, everyone. We will see you in a half hour's time on Kerry and Phil's Zoom room. We love you. We thank you. We can't thank you enough for being here. All right. Happy New Year. Bye, everyone.